All right, I was watching the Apple event yesterday, and I just gotta say, it felt a little bit off. They felt like everyone was kind of off their game. Some stuff just felt unpolished, and especially for Apple standard, it just felt very not there. It didn't feel like an Apple event. Even despite some things that I kind of noticed throughout the entire presentation, I just felt as if this Apple event was really uneventful. I mean, most of the times they are, because new iPhone, new AirPods, new Apple Watch, it's kind of rinse and repeat, but it felt extra of those feelings and extra of those experiences. And so this video is really going to be about me going over a couple things that happened within the Apple event that I thought were pretty cool, some takeaways, but also some things that I noticed that were just kind of, that feels a little weird. And so let's get into it. All right, first off, everything's about machine learning. No AI. Forget the words AI like we learned in the previous presentations that Apple had put out. Machine learning is the language that they're using. They're not using the words AI because of Apple Intelligence. And even then, when they use Apple Intelligence, they don't even refer to it as the traditional sense of AI. They just use it as some other means. Obviously, it's a marketing term. It's a way to brand themselves. And it's very clever. I mean, it's right there. It was served to them on a silver platter.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
Machine learning, machine learning, machine learning. From the Apple Watch, from the AirPods to the iPhone. I just remember hearing all these words, which were the same. Even though, technically, it is the right term to use instead of saying artificial intelligence. I mean, artificial intelligence, from what I understand, which can be nothing. I may not understand a single thing, but I do understand that it is a subsect of machine learning, and machine learning is really where the root of everything is. All right, so like every presentation you're gonna go through probably your Apple Watch and the new series, and it's the Series 10, and is basically the same thing, except maybe you got like a thinner bezels and a thinner chassis and a different kind of metal that's being used, and those things are cool. However, it doesn't, for me, in my opinion, justify $399. Yeah, I know I have an Apple Watch right here. This was my wife's because mine broke, and it's rose gold, and I'm rocking a yellow bright band because why not? So I just feel like from this is a Series 6, in fact, to a Series 10, and everything that I was hearing about that didn't really say, oh, this is so much of an upgrade. The only watch that I might consider upgrading to is the Ultra, because it is totally different. I mean, everything about its basic functionality is the same, but not necessarily all the other cool gimmicky features, unless you actually really do those kind of things like rock climbing, scuba diving, hiking, whatever, you know, those things are cool. And yeah, you have things like a depth meter, a temperature gauge. Those things are maybe cool, but it doesn't justify, I think, an upgrade in my opinion. So, but that's just me. I've always had my opinions about wearable tech, and they're cool, they're convenient. I think it's good to have one. It's just hard to upgrade to the next iteration or generation of that thing. And so we had the Apple Watch Series 10 announced, and then we had the new satin black Ultra watch, whatever. It was just a new color. That's all it was. And I'm like, writing in my notes, I'm like, okay, so it's the Ultra 3. Like, oh wait, no, it's just a new color, and you have to pre-order it. You can't buy it right now. So I'm like, okay, so I'm pre-ordering a color. The Series 10 is going to be $399, and then starting at, because you can get the different watch sizes and probably the different colors cost more. And then the Series Ultra, the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is $799 still. So at least they didn't bump up the price for the new color. But they're also telling you, yeah, there's definitely no difference. And Apple says that'll be available September 20th. Great. And if you want it, definitely get it if you don't have one. And if you've been looking forward to a new color or a new Apple Watch, well, there you go. You got it. All right, next we have the AirPods. And so the AirPods are a product that I can always recommend because they are definitely, in my opinion, the best on the market. They're actually budget friendly, and they come with so many different features. So yes, I can recommend these. I'm still using the AirPods Pro Gen 1. My wife uses the AirPods Gen 2, and everyone that I know has used them loves them. And so these are, what I see is really no different in the sense of budget friendly in a weird way thing from Apple, and feature filled. I mean, it's confusing that they announced two of the exact same product right next to each other with the same name, except for one having active noise canceling and maybe a little few other features, but the prices are both under $200. Like, it's insane. And I think that is really, it's a no-brainer if you're looking for earbuds, wireless earbuds, ones that connect with your phone seamlessly. I would definitely recommend. So the price of the AirPods Pro Gen 4 is $129, and the ones with the active noise canceling is $179 from what my notes say. Yes. So those are the two different prices. If you're looking to get some, I would actually say get them. They're really good. I personally like the Pros because of the silicone tips, and I like noise isolation even further. But these seem really cool, as you can have a few different new features, which are like the conversational awareness. When if you're currently listening to something, say music or a podcast, and say you step up to talk to somebody or someone approaches you, as you engage that conversation, it will lower down the volume or pause the music and let you talk and turn on that ambient sound. As you finish your conversation with that person, everything goes back to normal. Your music or your podcast now starts playing, and you go on your way. I think that's dope. Super awesome. Oh, and did I mention that the AirPods are USB-C? So that's good. Oh, and they're wireless charging. I totally forgot about that. They are wireless charging. They have the speaker on the actual case, and this is for both versions, I believe. I might be wrong, but I actually think both versions have the speaker on the case, USB-C, and the reason you have the speaker on the case is so that if you've lost your case, you can play sound through it so that you can hear it and find it. All right, so really quick, I'm just gonna go over what the iPhone 16 is because I do think it is important. And there are some cool things there. So the iPhone 16 comes in a marine, teal, pink, white, and black color scheme. They definitely look cool. I think they look nice. I really can't say anything about it. The pink looks a little off to me, in my opinion, a little not my style, I guess. Maybe someone else likes it, but it's a good collection, good group of colors and design. So nothing really to say there about it. It goes from 2000 nits of peak brightness to 1 nit brightness, so pretty cool, I guess. Bright phone, great for adaptive brightness when you're in super bright environments to really dark environments. I do appreciate a phone that can handle all situations of light very well. You got two sizes, which is a 6.1 inch display to a 6.7 inch display with the plus. So that's nice. You get two different options, but that's nothing new to the phones. So we know about the Apple Watch Ultra having the action button. So that little button is also coming to iPhone, which is pretty cool. It's basically the Bixby button that we all know and love from Samsung. Except I think this is probably going to be better than it. Yes, you can program it to do all sorts of things. Open the camera app or open your calendar. And it's not just that. You can also, from what I understood, is you can set the action in the morning to do one thing and in the night to do another one. So one of the examples they said, well, in the morning, open up the calendar. When it switches over to nighttime, we're going to switch to the flashlight. That is pretty cool. It's got one button, multifunctionality. So the iPhone 16's main camera has a 48 megapixel sensor. So for you to do the telephoto aspect of it, uses a 12 megapixel telephoto sensor, which will then zoom in and get you your photo. And then it also has an ultra wide lens, which is fantastic because it does ultra wide and also does macro, which I'm absolutely in love with. Ever since they brought that in and really highlighted the feature, it's always been fun. It's always been a good time. I love it. So, I mean, the camera is basically the same thing. It's really down to, as they say, computing photography, I think is what they call it, or photography computing, because a lot of it's done with their machine learning, a lot of it's algorithmic, and so that's great. I mean, you can't fit a huge sensor like you can in maybe a camera like I'm shooting with right there, but if you can have software enhance the image based on certain metrics and meters and whatnot, then go for it. I love that. That's awesome. But I really don't think there's much of a change from the previous generation. But for me, I'm really honestly thinking that's probably going to be the same thing as the 15, if even anything, the 14. So All right, now we come to the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max. So the iPhone 16 Pro is going to be 16.3 inches and the 16 Pro Max will be 16.9 inches. They said this is the biggest phone screen that they've ever made. The bezels are thinner. All these things are good. And of course, you still have your 120 hertz Pro motion. You have your always on display. These things are typical of the Pro series. We're not too surprised by this. I'm glad that they didn't take any of this stuff away. Glad to see it return for the 16 Pro. They also have a new color for this phone. It's called the Desert Titanium. It looks just like gold, but I'm sure it actually probably looks much nicer in person. It sounds cool and it probably looks cool. Based on the images that are around, it looks like a solid color, and I think that would be the one that I would get for my phone. My favorite, just on a side note, my favorite iPhone color that they ever made was the forest green for the 13 Pro. It is my favorite color, and I wish they would bring it back or let you choose to pick it for your phone because it is so good. But, you know, Apple in their infinite wisdom will not do that because we will buy whatever they get. We're kind of the ones to blame. So without getting too much into the details, but it has a new processor, has a GPU, has efficiency cores, it has performance cores, it has ray tracing. One thing, even though I put in my notes that I wasn't going to mention it, but I actually do think it's pretty interesting, is for the gaming aspect for both the Pro line and the regular iPhone 16, is the fact that there's, yes, ray tracing, but not only that, the fact is that you can play multiple AAA games on it. That's really cool. Whether or not you're playing AAA games on your iPhone, I don't think that's happening very often because you have a Switch or a Steam Deck or whatever. Like, we have handheld devices that are really built and intended for that. But they even specified among the gaming section of things in the presentation that they designed the iPhone in such a way to dissipate heat better when you're doing heavy workloads or playing games or things of that nature. So as much as I don't play games on my phone, I love that it's an option for people to now have, even though you're probably still paying AAA prices with an Apple tax. So I hate that. So they go on and on and on about different features and all things like that. If you want to know more, go to the website or see the keynote for yourself on YouTube. It is interesting and there's a lot of good stuff, but I'm not going to get into it in this video. However, they did talk a lot about a lot of video and audio capabilities. One of the things that I thought was really cool and would love to put it to the test is the audio segment. So in the audio segment, when you're like filming, you're doing your thing, you can select different audio, like, I don't want to say it's filters, but maybe filters is the best word, between different kind of presets regarding what you want as your sound profile. So in the video, which I hope is up in here, it's going to show you that, like, okay, you're filming, you got your subjects, and you can select the audio to grab what's in the frame, or to do a studio-like quality mix, or to grab a more cinematic mix. And so these things, based on the presentation, and if the presentation is anything to be believed as authentic and true to an actual situation, this is dope. All right, really quick, iOS 18 coming out in October. We already know about it from the other previous Apple event, and it's the same thing that Craig has said before, because Craig just likes to repeat himself, so he's like me. It's the same thing, basically, so I wouldn't need to talk about it. If you're interested, just wait till October and download it, and you'll kind of figure everything out then. So that's all out of the way. All the random mumbo jumbo, the details, the specifications of the products. We care about those things, but what I care about more is how annoyed I can get when watching a presentation like this, especially when you watch it twice, right in a row, and you don't miss things when you watch it again and again and again. This whole camera control thing, which I am sorry that I kind of glossed over it in the beginning, like by not saying anything about it. Camera control is pretty cool. It's this little like haptic button. Think of it probably like your AirPods, has a little, you know what I mean? It's like that, and from what I understand, and it's really cool because you can, once you're in the camera app, or I guess when you're not even in the camera app, you can lightly tap it or long tap it or slide, whatever. There's a lot of gestures you can do with it. It'll display additional functionality to whatever the app will be utilizing it. So like Snapchat is one of the applications that they featured that says they're already trying to use that as a way when you snap a photo, you can just slide down and select who you want to send that to, which is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Now, you can also use it as a shutter button. That is also pretty cool. So when you're holding it vertical, you can click that, boom, you're done. Yes, it's like the volume rocker, you can do that, but I guess it's probably in a better position. But then you also, when you're landscape, you can literally click it. And so there are different gestures that you can do. You can like tap to get different menu items within the camera app, and you can swipe between different settings. You can short tap further and further into menus, and then you can long tap for certain things. There's a lot of different functionality behind it. I think it's a very cool idea. So you have an action button and you have this button. I think it's very cool. It is an additional layer of functionality and feature set that can come with other apps, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's really cool. It's one of those little tidbits that I'm like, I would love to try that. But as the presentation part of things go, you have this thing come up, the camera control. It'll come up here, and then they'll just talk about iOS 18. And then all of a sudden, we're talking about it again. But then we're also going to talk about visual intelligence, which is a kind of gimmicky in my opinion, but I guess it's kind of cool. You click it at any point, and you maybe have saw a poster with an event and it had a date on it, and you click that, you scan it, and it'll automatically put it into your calendar. Now, I'm not against the feature. I think it is pretty cool if it is actually useful, but something tells me that it's not as useful as they want it to be. I think one of the funniest examples is that there was a guy walking in the video and he saw a dog, and instead of asking the owner what the dog breed was, he looked at the photo of the dog that he took with the iPhone and told him what the dog breed was. And I'm like, okay, that's probably the dumbest example you could have given. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about the Apple event. Did you watch it? Are you interested in any of the products that they announced? Is the iPhone 16 something that you're looking forward to? Or was it also, again, another letdown, another of the same thing? Or is it actually enough to convince you to get a new phone or to transition over to iPhone? So thank you again for being here. Appreciate you. Check out my other videos. I'm starting to do a lot more live streams, and I would love for you to join. So be sure to subscribe, like the video, and hit the bell button for notifications on future videos. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.